Hey everybody, Jake Gaskill here from G4TV.com with Abbie, Heppe to talk about Medal of Honor multiplayer. I understood you went last night.
I thought we were going to talk about our feelings.
Oh, I didn't bring any tea.
I did.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
Well, I guess for now, just multiplayer.
All right, we'll talk about multiplayer then.
So last night you got to see a lot of multiplayer.
Yeah, we got to play it. Everything that's been taken into account since the beta and sort of tweaked and added into the game. Checked out all the different maps, all the different modes. 8 maps, 4 modes, 3 classes. And so that's the rifleman, the spec ops, and the sniper. I love their sniper rifles.
Yeah.
Dice does it's almost like the cheaty sniper rifle for me, where it doesn't, you get a couple shots off rather than just like one, wait, reload, which I like.
I heard it's a little different than in single player too. There's like a different control scheme.
Yeah, well, I mean, you take into consideration that it's 2 different developers. One is doing the single player, and then Dice, who's very well known for Battlefield, doing the multiplayer for the game,
exactly.
Which is sort of an odd choice. But I haven't really done the single player yet, so we'll see exactly how disparate they are.
I mean, and because, DICE is so well known for Bad Company, and that game has a certain style, destructible environments and a certain tone.
And now you're taking on a very...
Yeah, how does that...
Not a very different tone,
right.
But you're taking on sort of a hybrid of the, what we're very familiar with from DICE, and then, something that's closer to a Call of Duty. Right. And, it works. I really love, personally, team objective stuff, although we didn't have the headsets and mics, so I couldn't yell at everybody, which is my favorite part of playing games.
Yeah.
Not really, sort of. And and the other thing is only available there on PS3, and I know that the PS3 fanboys are probably going to get really mad at me right now, but
don't worry about it.
I prefer PC or 360. It's just a matter of when it's Twitch gaming. Like I like the PS3 controller fine for most things. When it comes to Twitchier gaming, I prefer the 360 or PC control.
I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people have that same kind of.
So we can talk about some of the changes that they made, from the beta. One, you're not looking for the ammo crates anymore. You can pick up kits off of your fallen friends. No. But there's also, I think the hit detection is a little bit better. I do really like some of the things that they do in terms of, that I think is different from other shooters where there's a little bit more destructibility in terms of, getting rid of some of that cover that people are using. And also, when you have a weapon, you definitely feel that range on the assault rifle. You feel the range on the sniper rifle. It's very difficult to... do one of my favorite tricks, basically sniping with an assault rifle from across the map. Can't do that so much.
What is that? What is that?
Well, everybody has their own sort of, things that they do in games, and that's one of mine. I'm pretty good with an assault rifle, so I can, usually pick people off from a good way across the map, and you can't do that as much.
That seems very frustrating.
It's a little harder.
Yeah.
So they've fixed some of the crashing issues. They've, more general stuff. They've given it sort of a graphical overhaul. It's good. On some of the levels, I feel like especially when there's like snow, there's actually a really great variety of levels. We played on sort of an airfield level, a little bit more linear. And on some of the smaller maps, I think that spawn camping is going to quickly become an issue.
Right, I think that's what we've heard.
Because there's some very, very small maps that really take place in the trenches. There's there's a village, really good variety. But I worry about the spawn camping because I was even starting to see it happen last night.
Yeah. Speaking of variety, the different modes are. Each kind of have their own kind of feel. You have your traditional kind of team deathmatch.
Sure, and then you have other modes where you're essentially, trying to hold a position from, attacking or you're defending. And there's ones where you're, essentially capturing a point. Stuff that I think if you've played Battlefield, you should be pretty familiar with the sort of objective modes in the game. Really fun. The one team objective mode, we had a match that was over in 46 seconds. Like, I wrote it down because I'm like, wow, 46 seconds. I wasn't even quite aware of what we were doing before it was over.
That wasn't your doing?
Well, it's also it's the advantage of having headset and being able to coordinate something, on that level. So that was a little tough.
That's always frustrating.
Yeah.
It's over before it begins.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, what were we? How were we? Oh, yeah, now we're dead. But again, those are sort of things that, as people become more familiar with the game and as they play more, you see when that mode is coming up and you're prepared for it, which I was clearly not.
Right.
So, admittedly.
So, DICE is handling multiplayer now, and, you think Bad Company 2 just kind of recently came out, and it's kind of similar in that way, but also just generally, Modern Warfare 2 is still being played a hell of a lot. How, how do people, how are they kind of going to differentiate this experience?
I guess what's more worrisome to me is that you have this game coming out in between Halo and Call of Duty, and that's just a really tough release window to have.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, yeah, I would imagine. Too. Yeah.
And there are, each multiplayer, has their quirks and things that, I think that things that people will probably find problematic is there is for me the grenade feels a little bit slower. There is you can't lie prone. So you, I read that today.
Frankly,
I
strange, right?
don't mind.
Really?
Because that gets abused so much, and if you play like I do, everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's that like somebody's shooting at me, drop to the ground, which, is smart. Give yourself that much cover. But I think one of the really interesting things to me, kind of watching this game be developed, is how much they talk about using special forces operators as, to help them out and to figure out what's real and what's realistic, and make it feel like it's kind of a legit military experience. And I can see them, at least from interviews that I've done with those guys about video games as well, that they've really integrated a lot of that. Yes, it makes way more sense to just have crouching. You're covering up that much of your body. I've gone through all of this in like very great detail with like military advisors to video games, and a lot of what they're doing, I think, is taking that into account. You really do see that when you play it. Whether the hardcore gaming audience will appreciate that, I think, as much remains to be seen.
You're obviously a hardcore multiplayer shooter, shooter fan, very skilled, obviously. When you're playing it, does it feel like other, like Modern Warfare 2 or, a Call of Duty, or does it feel like something new, something bad?
It definitely has a feel that is a hybrid of Call of Duty and of Battlefield. I think you can tell sort of by looking at it. And so yes, but at the same time, I think that they do enough to sort of, make little nice tweaks that change it and give it sort of a different feel.
Well, speaking of that too, Battlefield's known for vehicles. Also,
yeah, and you're not really going to get
there's not that many. Not many vehicles.
Not many. I think there was like a tank in one of the. No, it's not a vehicle-driven. Nobody's running for the helicopter right out of the gate. Which, if I were better at driving vehicles, which I'm not, I would probably be more upset. But I think it's important for them to keep in the tone of Medal of Honor and make a different multiplayer than they have before. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. And there's mounted guns and other fun things to play with, and the team rewards because the way that you're kind of rewarded, the way that you get assists, basically, you have a score point at the bottom, and I honestly wish it was a little more up front because sometimes I didn't even realize when I had stuff ready to go. So you can get like flak jackets and stuff for your team and kind of help everybody out. But it tallies up the scores that you're getting as you're getting kill streaks, and as you hit a certain level, then you get special surprise. And
there's that too. There's a talk about a little bit about the progression tree of both vehicles and your character.
Yeah, you'll be progressing the weapons that you'll be unlocking different things for those. It's very easy to just back into the menu, pull out a different gun, change all of the attachments on it. Most of the stuff that you should expect to have in there, red dot sight and sort of hollow-tipped bullets and silencer, the kind of standard thing. There's 3 basically unlock slots for each weapon with different options.
I'm not a multiplayer shooter fan really at all, very casually. But looking at it, is there anything that it's doing that's drastically different than anything else we've seen, or is it pretty much just kind of keeping with what people are familiar with at this point in time?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's anything that's drastically different, but then again, I don't think your kind of hardcore shooting audience wants something drastically different either. But it will be interesting to see, the numbers on the game, especially in the sort of tough release window that it has. I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of it. Again, it's like that all the objective stuff. And the fact that they actually, and this is one of the things that I really do like about it, is that they force you to play as a team and to do those objective, like you can't, in Call of Duty, like frankly, you can go off and do your own thing while your team is capping all the points or, securing the headquarters and just pick people off and raise or kill death. And I think that this game forces you more to play as a team.
Which I think also kind of fits in well with their kind of drive to make it a kind of nail that realistic tone and give it that, they talk a lot about being, very respectful of the kind of of the military and that idea
Absolutely.
You want to work with your team. If you don't help your soldiers out, you're in trouble.
And I mean that's just one thing that the gaming community really imposes on games, where it's much easier to be selfish, but if you were actually on the battlefield, it probably wouldn't be a good thing.
I don't think so.
No, maybe
rough.
not.
Yeah. Talk about classes a little bit, actually.
Okay, so the 3 that we were playing last night, you have your sniper class, you have your spec ops class, you have your assault class. You get different abilities within those, whether it's smoke grenades, subtle things, but enough to kind of vary it up. I have to say, like, I love the medic class in Battlefield, so in a way, like, part of me, wants those old classes to come back, but none of that would work for this. I mean, it is not exactly the same class system, although you're loading out in a sort of similar way, although the maps and the menus doesn't look anything really like Battlefield to me.
Well, I think that was one of the other things they said they made it a point to.
Absolutely. Well, and you have to, because
too.
this is not Battlefield.
Right.
So you're missing kind of some of the classes that you would be familiar with if you play a lot of Battlefield. But the new ones are good, and you can really throw a lot of different weapons in there. So I mean, to me, the rifleman and the spec ops felt the most similar, because I mean, sniper's a sniper.
And you're using this.
What do you think that one does?
And you use the assault rifle
not
as
in this
snipe.
one. No way. But I broke it out because like there are just some of the maps are great for sniping, and that distance you just can't really hit it with an assault rifle. So I'm really looking forward to kind of getting into the nitty gritty of it and really getting a chance when doing the review to go even more hands-on than I think you get to when you're in a room and everybody wants to play. And
it's true. It's always tough. All right, so multiplayer, it's shaping up nicely. Obviously, looking forward to more of it, and looking forward to more of your take on it as we go forward.
I am too. I like playing games.
And I like hearing about you murdering a lot of people.
It's really fun.
Yeah.